Hey, what's up guys, this is Oakley, and this video is going to take a different turn from the norm, and that is because we're going to be focusing on a spotlight. It's the Ancient History magazine from Karwansari Publishing, and they have a Kickstarter going on, and the Kickstarter is sort of towards the tail end, and it seems like it's going to make it, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention because the cause of this magazine is one I fully believe in, and it's one I believe should have a fair share of support. So why do I think this? Well, let's go ahead and go to their website and go to the About page. So obviously about them, they're a small publishing company in the Netherlands, and actually, if you look at their three main goals, they want to stay current, they want it to be beautiful and thought-provoking, and most importantly, they want to make accessible history. So if I can quote them, they say, much of the latest research in the field of history is targeted at an academic audience and is often expensive, difficult to find, and frustrating to read. And so what they want to do with this publishing is to kind of translate that dense academic text and bring it to you in a way that's very approachable, and then they have their own commissioned artists who will go ahead and make some really awesome pieces of art to share that with you. So they already have three pre-existing magazines. The first is going to be Ancient Warfare, second Medieval Warfare, third War Games, Soldiers, and Strategy, and the fourth one is going to be this new one that they're proposing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one, the Ancient Warfare. Now this covers a period from 3000 BC to AD 500. So a bunch of different articles on different things. They have online blogs where they cover different periods. But here you can see some of the print magazines that you'll be able to get. So on the left, the End of Empire, the Fall of Rome. On the right, Trajan's Dacian Warriors. They do the same with Medieval Warfare. All of their magazines come out every 2 months, so it's bi-monthly. And then if you take a look at each magazine, what they do is they have each magazine focused around a certain theme. So for example, here you can see some of the Crusades or this Saracens, and then basically around that is built a bunch of other material that's kind of relevant to that theme. And I also found it was interesting, they have a connection to, they have an article here that talks about medieval warfare and gaming, so it seems like they are aware obviously that total war exists, and they talk about it in this article, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And another connection, one of the things that brought me close to these guys when I kind of stumbled upon them. Now another thing that they do is they have a War Games magazine for those of you who are interested. I know there's a lot of bleed over between gaming and history. One of those ways was tabletop gaming. But now here's the new one, and the reason they are going to go ahead and do this is because they want to cover the period of ancient history, but not just through the lens of military fighting. They want it to be a modern take on ancient history, and they want to do so, as they say here, for a casual audience, but they don't want it to just be bloodshed. They want to talk about the politics, the economics, the social classes, and how things worked out in ancient history. So for example, this first publication, Trajan's Market, they have an example for it. So I like this quote that they had here. Just because it's ancient history doesn't mean it has to be boring. And that quote right there, that sentiment that they wanted to share, is kind of what drew me to them, and that's kind of Kick. Talking about Kickstarter is what they're going to try and do here. Now the first Kickstarter seems pretty reasonable. They're trying to raise funds in order to produce 4,000 copies, so that's relatively small, and that's to pay writers, illustrator, artists, and all that. And they talk about the first issue right here. It's going to be around the theme of discovery of the ancient world, so expect articles on Hanno the Carthaginian, the search for amber, all sorts of cool stuff. Now if you want to have a little bit of insight of what the publication is like, they have a download sample that you can do, and this is just a 10-page PDF, and this one covers a whole bunch of different things, and you can see the custom artwork that they have here. I think it's beautiful. They have that kind of sprinkled throughout their magazines. Now this one, for example, is going to be just 10 pages, and so they talk about kind of here's how their editorial works. They talk about the Kickstarter here, and what I like about this is they go ahead and have obviously the main theme, a bunch of different subsections. So a Greek and Egypt, they kind of bring, they try to weave a narrative through things while also bringing in the academic points. So what you'll see is citations through here, references, ways to do more reading, and I think that's really great. Basically, the magazine gives you a way to visualize this. It gives you an introduction to that part of history, and then it allows you to do some follow-up research on your own. So I think that's kind of perfect for providing this type of content. And then also, obviously, this is just a 10-page sampler. The first issue that they want to do with their Kickstarter is going to be 68 pages. Now, the intent behind the Kickstarter is going to be for people to back them. So you can see some of the different backings that you can have here. You can pledge €5, €10, up to 250, and even 500. So like I said, they're nearing their end goal. But that's fine. The reason for this Kickstarter is they just want to do a preliminary sampling of the market. They want to see if people are interested in not just military history, but in the, you know, the social, political, and economics of ancient history. And I know, for one, when I read this, I'm like, oh my god, this is great. I don't see anywhere else covering this in such an accessible way. So that's why I went ahead and backed this. And they want to see, you know, are people interested? So they're not going to quite commit to publishing this throughout. They want to see, okay, can we make our initial goal? And it seems like, as of my initial research, they were very close to making their goal. Probably by the time you read this, they made their original goal. So keep in mind that, they still want to see if you are supportive of this issue. The more backing they see, the more they are going to invest in this, and they'll hopefully, this will give it some legs to stand on. Now, what they did say, if they meet their stretch goal of 16,000 euros, what you'll see is instead of a first issue of 64 pages, it'll be actually instead of 68, it'll be 84 pages. So that is a huge substantive magazine. So definitely, I think you should go ahead and check them out. Give them a chance. Go ahead and read their Kickstarter. Don't take my words for it. Go ahead and do your own research. But for my preliminary research, I want to share with you guys that this is something I'm very interested in. I'm looking forward to working more with these guys, helping promote them, and maybe even seeing if my documentaries that I do for ancient history, if I can share the maps and graphics with them, and maybe we can together make, bring ancient history to life. Anyways, that's enough of me talking about it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the actual guys who made it. So Karwansari, I'm going to allow them to speak to you for a little bit. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.
Hi, my name is Jasper Whitehouse and I'm the Managing Director of Karwansari Publishers. Karwansari Publishers is a small company located along the IJssel River in the picturesque town of Zutphen in the Netherlands. With the help of my colleagues, I produce ancient warfare, medieval warfare, and wargame soldiers and strategy magazines. Ancient Warfare magazine, which perhaps unsurprisingly focuses on the military history of the ancient world, is our longest running publication. We've been producing it now for over 8 years, and we're expecting our 50th issue this summer. So I guess it's safe to say that we've got quite a bit of experience in putting together magazines. Okay, so maybe you're a military history buff like me, and you can't get enough of reading about Gaius Marius, about Scythian horse archers, about the campaigns of the Ionian Greeks. You get the idea. Warfare is all well and good, but we're betting that there are a lot of people out there who'd like to read more about the general history of the ancient world, not just the military side of things. And in fact, we'd like to read and write about that more as well. So that's where the idea for Ancient History magazine comes from. In Ancient History magazine, we plan to explore the social, political, economic, and cultural aspects of the ancient world. In Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. And of course, there'll be a big focus on ancient Greece and ancient Rome, but we won't be forgetting about the Celts, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians. You name them, we'll have them. Like our other publications, Ancient History magazine will be published on a bi-monthly basis. And it's going to be illustrated with a combination of photographs, custom maps, and artworks that recreate the world of the past. That is an important point and one thing that will set Ancient History magazine apart from other similar publications. We want to show you what the ancient world really looked like and how people lived their lives. We won't just be focusing on ancient literature, archaeological artifacts. We want to go one step further and give you a complete picture. We want to draw together the sources and tell a story that's way more engaging and more relevant. We want to pull together all those bits and fragments and tell you what they mean and how they shape our understanding of long vanished civilizations. So yeah, we got some pretty lofty goals here, but we're confident that we can achieve them. Or at least we can achieve them enough so that you get a magazine that you really enjoy reading, because that's what this is all about. However, it's also where we need your help. Producing a magazine is really expensive. I know that from personal experience. The idea of this Kickstarter is to get the first issue of Ancient History magazine off the ground. Money will go to, authors, illustrators, producing the artwork, printing the magazine, all the editorial and administrative costs that go with it. Getting this project funded is important not just because of the physical product it will produce, but because it tells us that you like the idea and that you're interested in seeing more. Your support will help us decide if Ancient History magazine is worth making into an ongoing bi-monthly magazine. We've also put together some Becker Incentives that we think you will really enjoy. The rewards include mini posters, exclusive digital content, an anthology of ancient warfare artwork, and even the chance to see yourself reproduced in one of the illustrations in a future issue of Ancient History magazine. So I hope you'll choose to show your support for Ancient History magazine. We're really excited to get started on the first issue.